For most of its existence, the Butterfield Bermuda Championship has occupied an unassuming slot on the PGA Tour calendar, a late fall tournament, overshadowed by bigger purses and bigger names. But this year's edition of Port Royal delivered a Sunday that was a real head-turner. As most players struggled to qualify for next year's 100-player limited field, Adam Schenk scrambled through. And for that, the event deserves all the attention. Maybe even a signature event attention, as suggested by this analyst. Speaking on the Shotgun Start podcast, Andy Johnson's excitement was palpable. Calling it the event of the year, Johnson was particularly defensive when Brendan Porath quipped that the $6 million event shouldn't even exist. Hold on. I think you can't make an argument after this year, because this event can produce what happened on Sunday. Johnson said, "It has the potential to produce Sunday. This event should be a signature event." Adrian's stance came after watching Schenk win his first PGA Tour title in his 243rd start. That victory not just required execution, but an urgent adaptation to Bermuda's violent wind. So violent that Schenk had to change his traditional shot-making style. He's known to putt with one hand because he's shaky with the putter. But he couldn't carry on with his approach because the wind would have blown the putter out his hand. That's how windy it was. So he's got to go to the dreaded two-handed putting, remarked Porath. It was the final round when the wind surged between 15 and 30 miles per hour. The gusts produced were over 40. It was incredible, Johnson claimed. It was so severe that the tee times had to be moved up, but Schenk emerged as a seasoned wind player. He did miss several putts, particularly on the 17th. The wind hampered his 6-foot birdie attempt and spun it out of the cup. But the climax was on the 18th green as Schenk secured his victory. "I can't believe it's over," he said after the match. "It seems like the longest day ever." On the other hand, Chandler Phillips, who finished runner-up, was as honest as he could be. "It's hard as hell, man. I love playing in the wind, but this was the most I've ever played in." His saying this carries significant weight because he's a Texan and an Oklahoman native. These are the two regions that are known for their high wind rush. What elevated this tournament more was the course itself. Port Royal has always been a visual and strategic arena, but holes 15 and 16 were a test that was hard to conquer. The 16th was a 235-yard par 3, perched on cliffs above the Atlantic. It had to move its tee up to make it playable. Yet, it was eating the player's lunch, as Johnson puts it. Further, the entire mental game prompted the players to constantly make strategic choices to move ahead. You are almost making educated guesses, and sometimes you just hit the wrong choice in the multiple choice. You hit the wrong button. You're like, whoops. You're popped, Brendan Porath noted.